And the autopsy will be provided for the media at press@bencrump.com. And so,
Hey, I'm live on my
Mr. Jones,
YouTube
keep
right
that. I
now
don't
watching
need
this
this one.
shit.
I just need
This
this one
stupid nigga, Ben Crump. I'm live streaming right now. Y'all tune in.
So, pull this
Y'all
up.
tune in. Watch these lying motherfuckers.
So, Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026. Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. And we'll explain that as we go through
Nigga, what the fuck?
report this morning. The
I
manner
thought y'all
of
had it
death,
already.
undetermined, pending investigation.
Whoa.
Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells, age 18 years old, race, black, gender, male, date of death, unknown. Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings, and this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time.
Bro, so what?
He said the
so
body
y'all
was
niggas just wasted
received
y'all
after the
time.
initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation.
Get it right, nigga. Get it right.
He said corona incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso.
That Asian woman like, why am I
And
here?
he talked about the organs being removed,
I'm here 'cause
as
they
is
paid
common, accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they are dissected and examined. And then they are put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant.
This nigga is confused.
For Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute.
Explain this shit now, nigga. You got us
And
waiting
then
on
it
this
talks
shit.
about the additional procedures performed during the second autopsy. And we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative. So where's the first page?
This is an epic fail, y'all. We
Discussion,
are witnessing an
not
epic
the
fail.
diagram
We
yet.
got nothing out of this. Like, it's nothing. It's basically the same shit that they got from the first autopsy. The people that were originally on the case. These people got nothing. They got nothing different. Or am I tripping? Y'all let me know if I'm tripping.
He talks in the preliminary discussion opinion. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it on the 10th of July.
I mean, he was underwater. So, I mean, he was underwater.
For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures included facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, the pelvic, dissection of the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue, dissection of the back, the buttocks, the arms, and legs. He did all of this to rule out things. He ruled out there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. This was very important because he wanted to be very thorough and very transparent, because transparency is the key to getting to the answers of why Nolan Wells is not with us. So he did that there and was very straightforward, very open, very open. He says, however, dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8 inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlaying the occipital bone. And he talked about how he found red discoloration when he cut open into the back of his head towards the occipital bone, and he saw the red discoloration, and we actually saw the pictures of it. It's significant. You can't help but notice, why is this dark red here in the back of his head? And so he was important to note that in his report. He said that etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries. This finding, however, is significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate that the finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissection were not performed. He said another limitation, move this back here. Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures. The trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body. So he's saying that the throat was not received with the body when he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. And so let's discuss that with what he said about that. He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation. He said the retention of the anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy is a common forensic pathology practice. He was chief medical examiner for 7 years in Washington, D.C., and he said that if they had concern about throat or any fracture or compression of the throat, they too will hold them back. He doesn't know why they held the throat back, but he said the throat was not with the body of Nolan Wells when he received it in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. He said, nevertheless, a posterior neck dissection performed without review of the anterior neck structures is incomplete. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death. He said he would need to have the medical examiner in Mississippi allow him to review the throat. That's why he said his autopsy is undetermined pending investigation. Remember, it's about transparency. Because the initial autopsy rightfully removed and dissected each organ,
That's bullshit,
there are
Ben.
additional limitations inherent
That's
in
bullshit,
the second
Ben.
autopsy of Nolan Wells.
Because y'all not being
The most
transparent.
significant of
Bullshit,
the limitations was the inability to directly observe the airway and the lungs for water and directly observe the stomach for gastric contents. He said it is very significant as to what the initial forensic scientists who got to review the body when it was recovered. We have heard from our call center people saying the body wasn't waterlogged. Well, we need to know those things. But unfortunately, because the body was decomposed and the organs have already been dissected, those are things we can only get from the initial autopsy. So therefore, again, the manner and cause of death is undetermined until further investigation. We are hopeful that the Mississippi medical examiner would give Dr. Mitchell an opportunity to see their photographs and their observations
So y'all just
to
wasted
the
everybody's
condition
fucking time. That's
of
what y'all just
Nolan
did,
Wells' body
Say what it
closer
is,
in
man.
time to July 4th.
Say
That
what
is
it is,
very
man.
important, and we have to continue to demand transparency, President Johnson.
But y'all not being transparent yourself. Y'all already claiming racism. Get the fuck out of here,
In
man.
addition, the original toxicology results have not been received at the time of this report. And we continue to wait for the toxicology to come back because, again, that will be part of the investigation into Nolan Wells' autopsy by Dr. Mitchell. It is significant to note that it's many things that go into toxicology that only Dr. Mitchell would be able to opine upon, and medical experts can opine upon. And he feels the proper place to do that is before a grand jury in a courtroom. And so we would hope that the district attorney would present Dr. Mitchell before the grand jury as well.
This is a shit show.
We want
Can we
all
admit that
relevant
this is a shit show? Come on, man.
information to be heard by the grand jury. Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water, can you move this back? This is important.
We're not going to admit this is a shit show? Y'all not going to do that? Y'all not going to do that?
Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water with suspicion of drowning, it is important to confirm how that person entered the water. This is the crux of the matter. This information is especially important for those deaths of persons who can swim. As in the case with Nolan Wells, at the time of this report, this forensic pathologist does not know the condition of Nolan Wells. He did not know whether he was conscious or unconscious when he entered the water. He said that would be significant. He said he did not know whether he was forced into the water or unforced into the water. He said that would be significant. So he said the condition of Nolan Wells before he entered the water would be the crux of the matter. It would be of utmost importance to being able to determine a cause and manner of death. He said, definitive circumstances of death are required to determine the manner of death. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out, and let me really call your attention to this. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells.
Why did he jump on that shit like, okay?
He's saying based on the examination of the body, he cannot rule out foul play. That is significant. With the following questions still outstanding.
You're right. You're right.
Number one, what were the circumstances that led to Nolan Xavier Wells entering the water? Number two, what was the body position when it was found? We know that a member of the United Cajun Navy said that he was face down and he was fully clothed. Number three,
so did the white
where's
boys
there
do it
water
because that's
in
the
the
narrative
airway?
Y'all been spreading. Did the white boys do it
Remember
or
we
not?
talked about
that's what we're waiting on.
the lungs and the airways where they fill with water. Number four, is there any evidence of injuries to the anterior neck structure? We got the autopsy without his neck. We got the body without his neck at the time of the second autopsy.
Can you hear me, brother? He don't think they stupid.
Number five,
he know they're stupid.
Is there any evidence of any intracranial hemorrhaging? He said that is going to be very significant. Things that he could not observe at autopsy that the initial medical examiner would have been able to observe. Number six was the composition of what was the composition of the stomach contents? He talks about that being important because when was he found? How long had he been in the water? How long had it been since his last meal? All those things become relevant factors when you're trying to do a thorough and impartial autopsy. And number seven, what are the toxicology report findings? He said the best classification again for the cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells is undetermined pending investigation. This forensic pathologist reserves the right to review and incorporate additional forensic pathology information into his opinion as it becomes available. He says, the above opinions are expressed to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, July 19, 2026. And we know that, as I said, this is only another part of the puzzle. And even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time. And we will continue to press forward and persist, Christine and Elmore, with getting the answers to these questions. Because as you, yes, we will persist, because as
what are they clapping for?
Christine and Elmore and
this shit is fucking stupid.
Attorney Parker and I talked this morning.
This shit is stupid.
That there are so many conflicting stories.
Y'all were one of them. Y'all were the main one. Y'all were the main conflicting story. What the fuck are you talking about, Ben?
Face down. The fact that we have other videos where people who have called said that is Nolan, who is in some kind of dispute with others. We're looking at all of these things. The fact that the GPS tracking of the boat is being questioned by many.
Who?
We're trying to dot every I and cross every T, because we understand that when our children's lives are at stake, it matters. Not just what happened, but what we do in the aftermath of them being taken away from us. And just like the NAACP stood up when another tragedy in Mississippi taking the life of young Emmett Till, we will stand up for Nolan Wells.
Oh my goodness, man. Why am I watching this shit?
Just like
why am I watching this shit, brother?
The NAACP and civil rights leaders stood up when another Mississippi son was taken in Medgar Evers. We will stand up.
Why am I watching this shit
for
man?
Nolan Wells. And just like
oh my goodness,
too many of our young people, Trayvon Martin,
oh my God, I'm about to
Michael
log out.
Brown,
I'm about to log out.
Breonna Taylor,
I'm about to log out.
Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Terrence Crutcher, Stephon Clark,
What the fuck does that
Sandra
gotta do
Bland,
with him?
Atiana Jefferson, Alton Sterling,
Oh
Eric
my
Gardner, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, the young people who I was trying to focus on.
Why am I watching this shit, bro?
Gary,
I need the
we
content.
stand up
I need the content.
until we get
I need the
the
content.
truth, until we get justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells.
Don't get the chants
Justice
going.
for Nolan Wells.
Don't get them hyped.
Justice for Nolan
Black people
Wells.
love chanting.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Black people love chanting. This shit is fucking embarrassing.
We were asked if Christine and Elmore and President Johnson can come back and join us on the stage. And Trevon, we will have you coordinate questions and answers for us or President Johnson or Attorney Park and I. I will say this, as President Johnson comes to the stage, I was sharing this with him and Chairman Russell, Christine Clark. God knows we wish you had
Ashton,
you
they
at
don't
the
know.
Department
They
of
just
Justice
wasted your
now.
time. That's the point.
Christine Clark.
They don't know. They thought they'll find some shit out, but they don't know.
As I was sharing with President Johnson and
did all this shit for
Reverend
nothing.
Al and others, this is so important that we continue to talk about Nolan Wells and what happened to him, and that we get attention on him, because in getting attention on him, it brings attention, Cliff Jones, to other cases that are not getting their attention as of yet. But I'm so grateful to Christine and Elmore, because they said whatever we can do, not only to help our son, but to help these other young black boys who was killed the July 4th holiday. And
By
I
other
want to
black
take a
people?
moment before we answer
What are
your
you talking
questions
about?
to talk about two other young black men, both 18 years old, who were killed in extraordinary ways that are very similar to Nolan.
Who?
President Johnson, 18-year-old Daniel Irvins went on a fishing trip, out on a fishing boat with two other young men. He was the only black. It is alleged that he ended up accidentally drowning, but his two white friends got his cell phone and threw it away, got his clothes and threw it away, and then went and deleted all of their text messages with him and social media. Sounds familiar?
Yeah, it sounds like Willie D and these same niggas are spreading
And
that same
they've
bullshit.
only been charged with tampering with evidence. And his mother is crying out that they should be charged with murder, because if they would lie about his cell phone and his clothes and deleted messages, then they will lie about what really happened to Daniel Irvins.
I never
And
heard of that
then
until he said
there's
that.
the matter of President Johnson,
I need to get the facts behind that
Christine
shit.
Clark, of
And I'm not listening to no
18-year-old
fucking Willie D.
Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, on 4th of July, was at a house party with about 10 other people. He was the only black person at the house. He somehow ends up shot in the head, dead. Some of the friends get rid of the gun. The police show up. They tell the police it was an accident. It was an accidental shooting, that they were playing Russian roulette. And Tyler Smith ended up getting killed. And apparently, Christine Clark, President Johnson, the police just took their word for it. His mother and grandmother are incensed. They asked the police, did you do a gunshot residue test on his hands? And the reason they said they had to call us, like Daniel Irvins and Nolan Wells' family, because the police told them, President Johnson, that there was no need to do gunshot residue on his hands or any of the other people in the house, because I don't understand this logic, but they said if they were playing Russian roulette, then all of them will have gunshot residue on their hands. So we don't need to do gunshot residue tests. It makes no sense whatsoever. So they are taking the word of these 10 people that your son just killed himself. And you don't have to worry about doing any investigation or testing forensically anything Just take our word for it. Now, can you imagine in any three of these scenarios, had the survivors been young black men and they were with a young white man and he ended up dead, what kind of investigation would that have been? What kind of interrogation would that have been? Would they have ever been able to see the light of day until those questions were answered? Well, just like you would do a thorough investigation for your children, we want you to do a thorough investigation for our children.
You ain't gonna see no white folks in that motherfucker.
We don't want anything special.
Unless they
we just
taking
want
notes.
equal justice. Equal justice. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Trevon to lead us in the final session.
We'll have a few questions. We have my colleagues on either side with microphones. Please announce your name and your media outlet if you have any questions.
He just did
We're
for
going to
the
be quick
check.
because we have other programming going on in
he
real
just
time.
did for the check.
We'll go here first.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Samantha Chapman, ABC7 Chicago. You just unveiled a comprehensive outline of the independent report. Can you summarize for our viewers, because there's a lot to take in, a lot of information. So in summary, can you succinctly tell us what we can take away from this report? And also, if you can provide more details about the neck.
Yep.
I heard a lot of people behind me gasping when that detail was mentioned.
Yep. Let me try to be very comprehensive. As Dr. Roger Mitchell said, that the focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region, is significant because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain. That's significant. He also talked about, Mr. Williams, if you can, just the fact that as it's common practice, he was missing his throat when they received the body. And he wants to know why they held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he says he would hold it back when he was medical examiner because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water? He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. Thank you. Trayvon.
We'll go here.
Daryl Denard with Chicago Speaks on V103.
I'm done
What
watching this.
specifically are you calling for from Mississippi authorities in terms of transparency, but more importantly, investigations?
I know President Johnson is from the state of Mississippi, and the Mississippi Conference president is here. They're calling, as we are.
All right, man, I can't do this shit no more. I can't do this shit no more, man. So these motherfuckers basically wasted your time. They riled everybody up. They hyped everybody up for this conference this morning. I stayed up. It is 4:24 a.m. where I'm at right now. I'm 5 hours behind these people just for them to say that the results are undetermined. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And you know the sad part about it is that they knew. Ben Crump, all these folks, they knew. They knew they had nothing. They knew they had absolutely fucking nothing, but they appeal to you dumbass niggas. That's why they do what they do. That's why they do what they do, right? Look at the audience. Look at the audience. Everybody you see in this audience, older black people. Older black people. Like, this is sad. This is sad. You know what I'm saying? These folks woke up. They probably took off work today. Oh, we're going to find out today. What Kevin Hart say, you going to learn today. You going to learn today. Just for Ben Crump, bald, milk dud ass, to tell these people that the results are undetermined. Because everybody here right now, this is what they want to hear. Those white boys killed them. Those white boys pushed them off. Those white boys beat him up and dumped him in the water. Those white boys are responsible for his death. That's what they wanted to hear. All these folks right here. That's what they wanted to hear. But guess what they heard? In my Ben Crump voice. We have found out today that the results are undetermined. They're undetermined. This Bill Cosby milk dud ass nigga, man. Bill Cosby milk dud ass nigga. Get the fuck, boy, listen. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? All these donations, like how you say, James, is straight to the bank, bro. Straight to the bank. You want to make a lot of money? Go ahead and emotionally pimp out the black community. That's how you're going to get a lot of money. Long story short, I'm finna end this stream. I stayed up for nothing, in which I knew it, but I had to see it. I had to see it with my own eyes. In summary, these niggas found nothing.